You're tuning in to episode 130 of the Redefine the Hustle podcast. Hello and welcome to episode 130, Redefining Your Side Hustle. I'm your host, Suze, a growth mindset and productivity coach and founder of the Rockstar Advocate. And I'm back. It's been a few weeks as I've been sick and unfortunately did not batch enough episodes to get us through these last couple of weeks. So thanks for being back with me. Now we aim to release new episodes of this podcast every Wednesday. And while there's only a few episodes left before we wrap up season 5, we'll be continuing to create valuable content right here on our YouTube channel. So be sure to subscribe, hit that subscribe button right below. I never know exactly where it is, but it's somewhere below this video. So that way you make sure you get notifications every time we post something new. Now, if you're tuning in from Spotify or Apple Podcasts or any other audio platform, be sure to head on over to our YouTube channel at Rockstar Advo so you can be subscribed to our channel and enjoy all of the great content we'll be creating outside of this podcast. Now, while I was out these last few weeks, I did a lot of Netflix binging, and one of my favorite things I saw was a documentary of sorts called Get Smart with Money. Yes, I'm that person, the one who gets excited about educational content. Alright, so you can keep your hot D. I've got documentaries to watch. Now, if that content is not your thing, fear not, because I'm here today to share the best parts with you. Now, after watching it, I was inspired and realized that there is a clear 3-part system to being successful in growing your side hustle. And in your case, likely monetizing your music, which you ultimately want to be able to create into your dream job and leave your day job. Now, I'm going to break down this 3-part system for you in just a moment. But first, I wanted to tell you about a special offer that you likely haven't heard me mention before. Now, I don't talk about this often, but it relates to today's episode, so I wanted to tell you about my Beat by Beat VIP intensive. Now, I only mentioned it, I think, once before on this podcast in episode 124, but because of today's topic, I had to share it with you again. Now, my Beat by Beat VIP intensive is where you and I get together for one full day, and I build out 3 to 4 custom systems that will allow you to run your business without the overwhelm and manage your day-to-day admin tasks with streamlined checklists and protocols, making those recurring weekly tasks a walk in the park. Now, what do I mean by systems? How about an effective way to manage your email inbox? What about a way to stay on top of all of your social media? Publishing a podcast? There's a system for that. And it looks different for everyone. As I've said before, productivity is personal, and I'm here to save you time and energy by creating or improving your own systems that run your business, and in a way that's going to have the biggest impact on your bottom line. So the bottom line here, you'll stress less, you'll get more shit done, and you'll have a professional operations manual to easily hand off to an assistant, a VA, a family member that you're able to bribe to easily follow and carry out your tasks the way you want them done. Now, in my 3-part framework, we will assess, assemble, and actualize the systems you will need to build a sustainable career in music. I only reserve 2 spots per month for these intensives because, well, they're intense. But lucky for you, it's only intense for me, as you'll be treated to an afternoon of self-care and mental centering as I work on building the systems that we discussed beforehand. So if you want the VIP treatment, let's talk. There's a link below in the show notes to schedule a free call with me so that we can discuss if this service is right for you and where you are in your journey right now. 1 spot has already been claimed for November, so who's next? Now, not everyone is ready for the VIP treatment. Some of you are just getting started with your career, and that is okay. For those of you still working at a day job, dreaming of the day you put in your 2 weeks notice and start doing what you love full time, I've got a 3-part system that you can begin implementing today. So let's dig in. Get Smart with Money on Netflix follows 4 families or individuals looking to get smarter with their money by working with 4 financial coaches. Now they cover investment, debt consolidation, early retirement, and earning more cash, which is the part that most inspired me to create this episode. Earning more cash through a side hustle is what artist Lindsay was focused on through the help of Paula Pant, founder of Afford Anything. Now the link to Paula's resources are right below in these show notes if you want to check her out. Now after working 2 jobs as a server and bartender, Lindsay was not only having trouble making ends meet, but she was being drained by the soul-suckingness of her jobs and the time it took away from her creating her art. So Paula suggested a few ways she could immediately start injecting more cash into her life. But first, Lindsay had to believe that she had created things that people wanted to buy. So that brings me to the first part of my system, mindset. Now, Paula mentioned that Lindsay was starting to make a shift in her beliefs as they were getting started, noting, "I'm surrounded by opportunity, I'm surrounded by abundance." The belief that it's possible is more than half the battle. This shit ain't easy, and if you don't believe it's possible, it will always feel impossible. As Paula pointed out, building out a side hustle that you ultimately want to be your dream job takes calculated risks. Paula says in between cowardice and recklessness is courage. You've got to bet on yourself or no one else will. Now the second part to this system, making the requests and being open to opportunities. Now, you don't see any opportunities in sight? That's what the requests are for. Making requests helps create your own opportunities. Networking is a key piece to any business's growth and sustainability, and you've got to come prepared. So when Lindsay heard that the bar she worked at wanted a mural done on the side of their building, she drafted out a plan of how much the materials would cost, and she did her research on what the going rate was that many muralists get paid. She then took her plan to her boss and offered to take on the project. And it was hers for the taking. Her next client, well, she knew that one of the regulars at the bar owned a fashion company. So when she next heard him talk about it as she was serving drinks, she joined in the conversation. She gave him his drink and she mentioned that she had gone to fashion school and that if he ever needed any extra help, she was the one to call. You don't always have to make a direct request. Sometimes it's just about keeping your eyes and ears open and being willing to join the conversation. And you want to join it with passion and sincerity. That's the key to remember. How do your skills add value to someone else? How can doing what you love to do positively affect another business's bottom line? Not sure where the best connections are? Start talking to anyone. Tell others what you're building and what you love to do and what you're hoping to do. What services are you offering? What products are you creating? Never underestimate who knows your next big lead. So make the request. Now, does that feel scary to you? Then go back to part 1 and work on your mindset. The more you believe in yourself, the easier these requests become. And be aware that your mindset will be tested. A few months into her journey, Lindsay was making great strides in selling her art, but she was starting to revert back to her old ways in thinking. She had first said, "I feel like I'm putting in a lot of work and a lot of labor and a lot of hours, and there's only so much that I can put in." Sound familiar? Which brings us to part 3 of our system, creativity. Now, you've got this in spades already. Now you've just got to use it to find creative ways to scale your business and find more opportunities to be a part of, even if you create them from thin air. Scalability multiplies your income without multiplying your efforts. For instance, Paula suggested to Lindsay that she make copies of her artwork to sell digitally. So what can you easily replicate, automate, delegate at little cost or effort to you? It doesn't always mean scale your services or products. Sometimes it just means scaling the back of house efforts. Grow your team, outsource to a virtual assistant, hire someone to clean your apartment or deliver your groceries so you can spend more time creating your art. Get creative with ways to streamline your approach to your work. So there you have it. Mindset, requests, and creativity. Your 3-part framework for building your side hustle in a way that can allow you to eventually quit your day job once and for all. Now let me know in the comments which part of the framework you're going to focus on next. Mindset? Maybe you're already making those requests and you just need to get creative on scaling your efforts. I'm excited to see where you're at. So comment below and be sure to subscribe so that you're notified when I respond. Now, before we wrap up, I just want to share a redefining moment of the week, even though the week happened back in 2015. I'm sharing it with you now since, one, the podcast wasn't around in 2015, and secondly, it's directly connected to this 3-part framework. So Facebook brought to my attention that last week I celebrated 8 years since the idea for the Rockstar Advocate was born. And it was in April of 2015, 6 months later, that I was ready to take this business full time and officially filed it as an LLC. Now, my business coaches had encouraged me to use my network as much as possible to grow my leads and find new clients, which is what I did. But I was so nervous to reach out to people and make those requests. So the mindset reframe that I used, I'm simply informing them about what I'm up to and giving them the opportunity to act as a connector in case someone in their network needs the help that I'm offering. See, nothing wrong with that. So I did that, and a family friend from high school, Marcel Penza, hey Marcel, who got me my first gig at Atlantic Records, encouraged me to reach out to Lou Playa, a mutual friend from Atlantic Records who went on to create Reverb Nation. Yeah, no big deal. I was so nervous. It had already been 12 years since I last spoke to Lou. But Marcel, much like my business coaches, encouraged me to take the pressure out of it and just reach out. I emailed him in May, and he immediately responded and invited me to meet him in Montauk, where he was speaking on a panel at a music conference. I made it happen, and Lou went on to become not only one of my biggest connectors and referrals in the business, but also one of my dearest friends. In fact, I just spoke to him last week, and we have plans coming up to meet again soon. So Lou, if you're listening, it's your turn to pick the bar. It only takes a moment to redefine your journey, and you are in control of that. Now, I hope these tips and stories have inspired you, and I can't wait to see what you'll do next. Let me know in the comments below this video what resonated with you most, and if someone you know can benefit from this information, share the link with them, won't you? Now, I will be back next week with an episode that plays a bit of a devil's advocate to this episode, as I'll be discussing situations in which you may want to keep your day job in order to grow the music career of your dreams. Stay tuned.